Yes, everyone, I hope you're doing well. Something I get asked a lot within my productions is how do I create my drums to be so groovy, but yet so simple and stripped back at the same time, especially in some of my releases on labels like Short Circuits and Issues. So I'm going to demonstrate you the basic and fundamental ways I build my minimal deep tech drums with this track here.
Here go, baby, don't stop now. Don't stop now.
So the answer is simple to create drums like this. You've got to be specific, intentional, and create targeted layers. And I know that many producers aren't doing this because within all the coaching calls that I do, I just open up their projects and it's full of top loops with no purpose or intention. So this video is going to be broken down into 3 individual sections. First, we're going to look at intentional hi-hats. Secondly, we're going to look at how to make claps more interesting. And then finally, we're going to look at loops with purpose. So let's get stuck into it. Now, the main reason why we are starting with the hi-hats in this video is it's because it's often overlooked and neglected. If you think about your drum groove, most of the time, your grooves are coming from the hi-hats and percussion because your kick lands in the same place and so does your clap, whereas your hi-hats have a lot more flexibility. Yes, you need the ones in the offbeat to create that 4/4 groove, but other than that, they can go wherever else you want. So let's just take a listen to all of the hi-hats in this drum groove. Sounds simple, right? But there's a lot of purpose and intention behind every single layer. So let's break it down. So now you can see that we're zoomed in. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 layers of practically the same hi-hat landing in the same position. But because I was very intentional with the samples, they all have a specific purpose. So let's go from top to bottom. So starting with the top one, we have the closed main hi-hat. This is just a standard, normal closed hi-hat. Very simple and very clean. Then we have closed 2, which adds a bit more weight and volume to it. And you can hear it adds a kind of sharpness to the sound and a bit more of a unique characteristic. This is where we start to then build intentionally on top of these hi-hats. So we have closed hi-hat, but this is adding a lot of weight to the sound. Now if I solo this hi-hat, you can hear it has quite a sharp bite and a lot of mid-range to it. But without these other 2, it lacks that kind of high-end presence. So this is where you have to be super intentional with the samples that you're picking, because you don't want to just layer random hi-hats on top of each other for the sake of it. You need to think about their frequency and their purpose in the track. And all of this helps when you get into the arrangement process because you're able to then build energy and layers of very minimalistic and simple elements like a standard offbeat closed hi-hat. So let's continue down to some more of the interesting layers. Now we have closed high. So this is coming in to add some more high-end energy to the closed hi-hat. And you can noticeably hear on this one the difference. But if I take out the closed weight, you'll notice it doesn't have that same effect. It sounds a lot more thin. And then we have closed energy, which comes in again to pick up the energy of those hi-hats. And you can hear it's very subtle, but it does make a difference. And the great thing about this is we don't have to have both of these playing at the same time. There could be a period in the track where we just have closed energy playing with the rest of our closed hi-hats, and then we could swap to closed high for difference and variation, but still keeping it very minimalistic like we want within this genre and style. So now we can move on to some more of the interesting ones to add groove and variation to your closed hi-hats. So I like to break this down into 2 parts. Number 1, call and response, and then number 2, groove. So let's start with the closed hi-hats for call and response. So you can see here I have the same pattern, but every other bar, it changes to a different sample. So this sound calls, this sound then responds. Very simple, but very effective technique. Then we have closed groove number 1, which is just a standard pattern. And then bouncing off of that, I have closed groove 2. So these add a lot of energy and groove to the closed hi-hats. Let's just go through and solo all of the closed hi-hats on the offbeat. Now add in our closed call and response. And now add in our closed groove. And everything sounds really good because I was specific and intentional with those sample selections and with the layering. I wasn't just throwing in hi-hats for the sake of it like many people are. I'm purposely choosing what they're going to do in the track, and I'm making sure I know that by naming them as well. These are the little things that really can take your production and your drum grooves to that next level. So now let's move on to the second part of this video, which is making interesting claps. Now, most of the time, people just rely on their claps landing every other beat, and that's it. I mean, I would say they are probably the most boring part of any house track. But there are certain things we can do to make them more interesting. So number 1 is an easy one. It's just layering different claps to create a slightly unique characteristic to your clap. So here I have a standard 808 clap, and I have layered it with a slightly different clap. And it just gives it a bit of difference in weight, tone, and bite. A really cool technique that I enjoy doing sometimes is then adding variation to the claps like so. So what we're going to do is every other clap, we're going to have a different clap sample playing, and this is going to create a slightly unique effect. You can hear by having these two on, the pitch of the clap changes ever so slightly. It gives it a lot more of an analog, old school feeling. Now, it's not something you have to do in every single track, but it is a cool technique nevertheless. Now, down from this is adding clap grooves. A lot of people are used to doing this with snares, but within minimal deep tech, I find adding a short clap and using it in the fashion of a snare often works better. So you can see here I have it bouncing off every now and again towards 2 and a 4 bar phrase. And the reason why I like using the clap is because the tone doesn't change as noticeably as it would compared to using something like an 808 snare or a 909 snare. You can easily tell the difference between your clap and a snare, whereas this, it sounds still like a clap, it just sounds a bit shorter and snappier. It could easily be mistaken for the same sound, which goes into that theme of simplicity, but also creating good groove. And then the final way to adding more interest to your claps is with modulation claps. So you can see on the end of this 8-bar phrase, I have a clap, and on here I have a tape delay effect. This is where you change the sync to time, and I suggest putting on ping pong as well. And you'll end up with this effect. Really cool, really interesting, and you can do a lot of stuff with this. You could always change the pitch of the timing. So if we go show automation and adjust this, so you could speed it up or slow it down. You could also try things like a standard echo or reverb just to create a unique effect on the clap that happens every 4, 8, or 16 bars. And the last part of this video is looped with purpose. Now this is where I see a lot of people go wrong within all the coaching calls that I do. They can often make fairly decent drums themselves through MIDI, maybe not to the complexity and intentionality that we've just looked at in the hi-hats, but they're usually pretty good. But often where they ruin them is just throwing in top loop after top loop after top loop, filling up all of this space in the mix which just isn't necessary, and ruining the foundational groove they built themselves. For me, you always want to try and use top loops to kind of accentuate the groove you've already created. So for example, in this track, if we look at all the sounds I've added, they're just general hits. Every now and again, I'm just adding in a percussive hit or a hi-hat or a cymbal, or a very subtle top loop, because my actual drum groove was really good. I mean, let's just listen to just the claps and the hi-hats alone. We really don't need to add too much more to a groove like that. So this is why it's important to make sure each sound has a purpose when you're adding in loops and percussive sounds. So let's start with a top loop. If I add this one in, you can hear how that top loop doesn't distract the groove that I've spent time and care creating. In fact, it improves it by adding a bit more depth and character and uniqueness by the sample that I chose. So now let's have a look at some of the other elements that I added with purpose, like this percussive hit here. You can tell how there's not too much going on in the hi-hat groove, so having something like that sound come in really helps fill out a bit of space. But again, it's not too much. By cutting things out and being intentional, you create much better grooves. You can always think of groove as about the space between sounds, not necessarily about having loads of sounds in your track. Same thing with this rim shot. It's very subtle, but it works. So then the cymbal has a purpose to identify the start of a new 8-bar phrase. And it also then creates call and response between different elements. And then I have other sounds, such as this one up here, to signify the end of a 4-bar phrase. And then 8-bar phrase with this sound. Other samples like this perk fill, again signifying the end of a phrase. So by the end of it, you have a full and intentional minimal deep tech drum groove that sounds good and has lots of purpose within the track. Now you bet you'd be wondering if these principles apply to different genres, and it definitely does, but often it's just the sound selection that changes. And if you're interested in seeing how I build different drum grooves with slightly different sounds within minimal deep tech, maybe it's something in the style of take notes, or more of a percussive roller, or something on the lines of more deep house, then you can go to the link down below and check out Serotonin Studio and our membership, where we have loads of videos, and we also have weekly calls starting this month, along with a bunch of free sample packs and resources. So one more tip for those legends that stay to the end of these videos and watch the whole entire thing. Really means a lot to me. I mean, I appreciate all the views, but if you haven't subscribed, just go down and click it. It really helps the channel grows and it means a lot to me. So the bonus tip. Don't forget your other elements like percussion and textures. These add a lot of impact to the overall drum groove. Sometimes it's easy to think of drums and percussion as separate, but really they're not. They are the same thing. So this is a track with just the low end and drums. It's good, but let's add the percussion in and you'll notice an instant difference to the groove. You can tell a difference to not just the vibe, but the groove of a track as well. Let's just listen to the drums and percussion soloed. And the reason why the groove improves is because of the call and response and variation. You would struggle to get this amount of call and response and variation with just your standard drum elements, so claps, hi-hats, snares, and so on and so forth. By using more percussive, textural sounds, especially within the minimal deep tech genre, you're able to create really complex call and response rhythms with really interesting variation. It's really simple to create percussion like this, but that is a topic for a slightly different video. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed that video and got some useful information out of it on how to build interesting, groovy, but yet simple minimal deep tech drums. If you want to check out our membership and Serotonin Studio, like I mentioned, then just go to the first link in the bio, and hopefully I'll see you inside Serotonin Studio. But if not, I will catch you in another video very soon.